It's okay, I want to sing one more nigun. It's a nigun we sang last week. I just can't get this out of my heart. That's not Michal Shapiro nigun that we sang last week. It's just, sometimes a nigun gets stuck in you and you could do whatever you want to try to shake it off and it just doesn't work. And then you just have to meet Batel and be like, okay, en baya, kibalti. Kibal. Esai nai el hehali me'ayin yavo esli. Esai nai el hehali me'ayin yavo esli. Esli Hashem oseh shamayim va'arez ezli me'im Hashem oseh shamayim va'arez. I lift my eyes to the mountains, from where will my help come? I lift my eyes to the mountain, from where will my help come? My help is coming from the Lord, creator of heaven and earth. My help comes from the Lord, creator of heaven and earth. From the beginning, let's go. Esai nai el hehali me'ayin yavo esli. Esai nai el hehali me'ayin yavo esli. Esli me'im Hashem oseh shamayim va'arez. Esli me'im Hashem oseh shamayim va'arez. Da 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 ma ya ma aya da 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 ma 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 da 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 ma ya ma 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 da 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 ma da da aya da 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 ba 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 aya da 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 aya. Beautiful. Yesha koyach, everyone. Okay. So those that have the Sefer Yom Achmadim from Rabbi Yaakov Meir Shechter, I don't know, are there any left, Yisrael? There are none left. Okay, those that want, we'll make another order, please God. And I think we're starting a new parak today, Parak Gimel. Parak Gimel, Daf Mem.
Everything that this community given me to be here today, and I can't begin to express the thanks to Hashem and the thanks to all of you for everything you did for me and I appreciate it.
Baruch Rofei Cholim. Welcome back home, brother. Baruch Hashem. So this, I'll tell you the truth, this parak, I was almost debating, do I skip over this one? Because I don't want to make anyone feel bad. But then I'm like, what are we doing? What are we here to do? Like, what are we here? Like, skipping over just to make, Mazah, imagine if like, Hashem said, like, I have a whole Torah for you, right? But there's certain inyanim here. I have a chashash that maybe like people will like, oh my God, I don't know. So this is a lemaisa shir. This is a very lemaisa practical shir, and I want to explain something. What we've worked very hard on, and many of you have reached out on Fridays, especially last week, saying that you closed shop by what time last week? 11:30, 11:45. Different shop, different Friday, but different Shabbos. Different Shabbos. So, let's say I close up shop Friday by 11:30, 11:45. Then what's the avoda? Netflix till Shabbos? Like, meaning what? You know what I mean? Then, what do you have time for, right? So this is going to address something like when you close up shop, kmo shetzarich, bazman shetzarich, it opens up the gates to like what Erev Shabbos can be, because then what Shabbos could be, literally what Shabbos Kodesh can become. So I just know that maybe it'll touch upon a point here that maybe we're not there yet, but there's no greater time to be makabel ha'achlata, to take upon ourselves something maybe we haven't been doing yet. So look at this. Yashlim parshiyotav. Be mashlim whatever you're missing. Mashlim your parashot. What does that mean? Yesh ladat. Rabbi Yaakov Meir Shlita says, "Shilashlim parasha shnayim mikra ve'echad targum is eino zchut greda." Everyone thinks that do you do shnayim mikra echad targum, as if like it's something that maybe you do, maybe you're into it, maybe you're not. But when you open up the Shulchan Aruch, shnayim mikra ve'echad targum shows up as a seif in the Shulchan Aruch. It's not this custom that was taken on 600 years ago. So he says, it's not a zchut, it's not a merit if you get to do it. Ki im chov gamur medina de Gemara. This is a complete obligation like we see in the Gemara and Brachos. V'alacha psuka hi b'shulchan aruch. And then if you look in Reish Pei, what is it? Reish Pei Hey, Sif Aleph. I was looking at it this morning. It's pretty crystal clear that a yid has to be mashlim parashiyos. What does that mean? Mavir sedra. What does Shnai Mikra Echad Targum mean? So, anyone want to share? What does that mean? Right. So now, what happens if I say I read the parish? I do like each aliyah a day, and then I mashlim on Shabbos is considered my second one. You're fine, but it wasn't like that the first 100 years after the halacha came out. About 80 years. The first 80 years, it was like no. Then there were achronim that came and said, no. The truth is that you could consider this the second Shnai Mikra, right? Shnai Mikra, 2 times you read the Torah, as the Torah reading that you do on Shabbos. But the first one has to be you during the week. Huh? Yep, bevadai, 100%. And the Sfardim do this much, much better and more meduyak than Achenu b'nei Ashkenaz. Is that, I don't know, in all shuls, but in many of them, and when Reb David Zayit was living out here, and he would get an aliyah, he read. Always, he got the aliyah that he read. Mamash to be reading the one that's reading when you go up to the Torah. But when you look at the Shulchan Aruch, halacha psuka, that this is something you have to do. So we should take this, those of us that aren't holding there yet, that by the time Shabbos comes, we're Mavir Sedra, that means we went through at least one time the aliyot, and with Rashi. Where we understand today that Targum can be Yotz, right? The way that we understand it is with Rashi, and of course also with Unkel, like whatever you need to do. But this is not a zchut. Now, why is he telling us this? Look. V'hine yadua ki hazman ha'mesugal v'hamufchar lekach hu be'erev Shabbat daika. Now the time to be able to mashlim the parashiyot, to do this, is dafka at this I like to call it it's not Chol HaMoed. Well, the whole weekday, Rabbi Shlomo says, is called Chol HaMoed Shabbos, like all the weekdays. But this man of Friday afternoon, now that we've decided last Shabbos, listen, I'm closing shop at 11:45 in today's, whatever this man is, an hour before Chatzot, hopefully, as much as we can. Now that we have this time, what are we filling it with, right? What are we filling it with? Now, don't use this as a heter to not bathe your kids and put it on your wife either. There's about 6 hours you got there, so this shouldn't take you more than maybe half an hour, maybe. Okay, with the Rashis, right?
Is that why the whole thing is Friday typically longer than every other?
יכול להיות, יכול להיות. וכמובן בכתבי האריזל, the Arizal speaks about this, and Rabbi Nachman speaks about this, Rabbeinu HaKadosh B'likutei Maharan, Kuf Mem Aleph, העריך לפרט את התיקונים הנשגבים שמתעוררים על ידי העברת הסדרה בזמן זה, בערב Shabbos Kodesh Daika. The Arizal and Rabbi Nachman speak about that when a Jew engages in Shnai Mikra Echad Targum at this Zman of Friday afternoon, big stuff are going on. Now, we don't have the time right now to go either into the Arizal, in the Shara Kavanos, or into Rabbi Nachman right now in Likutei Moharan, but keep that in mind. Keep it in mind by you Kuf Mem Aleph and Likutei Moharan, and hopefully we'll get to see it.
How do we know it's specifically Shabbat after, Erev Shabbat afternoon? It says here Erev Shabbat. Did I miss a line?
Based on, what's that? Based on
last week.
Yeah, based on last week. No, but also because based on what they're saying, from Chatzot Hayom Va'elach, meaning the mikvah of Erev Shabbos. When do you go to the mikvah of Erev Shabbos? If you went to the mikvah Friday morning, it's a beautiful Friday you had. That's not your Shabbos mikvah yet. That's only from Chatzot Hayom Va'elach. So Bichla, I'm just basing it on the typical Zman the way that we understand Friday afternoon. Weiter. Ve'im kol zos rabim einam yodim mizeh. But most people, it's a very interesting thing. They just don't know of it. ויש אשר רצונם טהור להתהדר ולהתחסד, ולא להעביר עד סדרה בזמן אחר, רק בזמן זה של ערב Shabbos. But then there are those that they're like, I'm actually saving my Mavir Sedra for this time. There are those that kilu, they don't even do it until this Zman HaMiyuchad of like getting, of this post-Chatzot Friday afternoon. וכך יוצא שמחמת הטרדות המרובות שהעומסים על שכמם בערבי שבתות כידוע, הרי הם נמנעים לגמרי מחובת העברת הסדרה. Well, what ends up happening? It's great. They have gewaltic plans. It happens to me all the time. I have all these plans for this Zman that I have on Friday afternoon. The truth is, any Zman really that I say, I'm designating it for that, I kimat never get there. That's what he's saying, yeah, especially Erev Shabbos. So therefore, yeah, you learned in the Arizal that your Ma'avir Sedra, you do this Shnai Mikra Echad Targum on Friday afternoon, so you save. It's like you have all the time on Sunday. Nah. You have an hour now to do Ma'avir Sedra. No, listen, I know. I'm waiting for Friday afternoon. That's my Zman. Kids are jumping on the head. The blech's not working. You know, usually Tom gets like 80% of our calls about Friday afternoon problems, right? Like, I got this, I need this fixed, I need this taken care of. Nothing's happening. We have no control over whatever it is. So the Rebbe Meir Shechter is saying, it's very beautiful and holy. You wanted to save the Zman for Friday afternoon. Let's come down to this world a little bit. Okay? ולכן, הנני מייעץ לבחורים לחלק הפרשה לפי סדר השבע קרואים, וללמוד כל יום חלק אחד. Like generally is the minhag, that you divide it into 7 days. יום ראשון עד שני, יום בייז עד שלישי, יום ג' עד רביעי, וכן הלאה. הסדר הזה לא לוקח הרבה זמן ביום, וכך יעלה בידו לגמור כל הפרשה עד כניסת השבת. So as beautiful as it is, it's interesting what he's saying. He said, based on the Arizal and Rabbi Nachman, the Zman for it really, Friday afternoon. It's an amazing Zman to do this. But L'maisa, we know what it's like. Therefore, the way we do it, day by day, day by day, day by day, so that when it comes to Shabbos, you're more or less there. At least you don't have Rishon, Sheni, Shlishi, Revi, Chamishi, Shishi, right?
Maybe the Shnai Mikra is to do Seder Hayom the first time, the second time is to read it Erev Shabbat.
יכול להיות. What's that? He didn't say that, right? No, what you're saying. Yeah, Beseder. Okay, now he says like this. And this is a small parak. We're going to do the whole parak today. Moreinu Reb Nassan katav belikutei halachos, kol yemot hashavua mekablim chiyus ma'nekuda shemeira bahen al yedei kriyas oto hasedra. Now this is something that's found in many of the other Sfarim. He's saying that the days of the week receive its vitality and its life force from the point that shines through the reading of that parsha of the week. The light, the vitality, the life force of the day. This is amazing. V'shamati me'arav hachashuv Reb Shmuel Horovitz Zecher Tzaddik Livracha b'shem Moreinu Reb Nassan. Now I want you guys to remember these names. To me, it's very important. When I first was learning these Sfarim, I was just trying to gobble up every name, every Rebbe, every Sefer. But when these names stick into you and then you start connecting the dots, it's just beautiful and you feel at home. Reb Shmuel Horowitz, Zechet Tzadik V'Kodesh Livracha, was one of the most holiest of the Hashem that lived in the time of Rav Kook. He was friends with Rav Kook. He grew up in the Lubavitch family, but he found Reb Nachman and he just, that's it. It was by him, game over. I have a beautiful picture of him. He was taken into captivity, in the Jordanian captivity in 1948, together with a bunch of wrestlers that were living then in the old city, including Reb Yaakov Meir Shechter's father, Reb David Shechter, Reb Shmuel Shapira, other names of Rebbes of Tzaddikim we've heard of. And Reb Shmuel, they have a collection of Reb Shmuel Horowitz's Ktavim. They're unbelievable. They're absolutely unbelievable. So just keep that name, okay? Keep that name there strong. Shamati ma'Rav Choshev, Harav Chosi Reb Shmuel Horowitz, in the name of Reb Nassan. מה שכתוב בליקוטי מוהר"ן, שצריך לקשר את עצמו עם הנקודה השייך לליבו בכל עת. So Rabbi Nachman says like this: a person has to connect himself with the nekuda that's shaykh to his heart at the moment that he finds himself. Zat omeret. We have to be heartzig yidden. We have to be yidden that are connected to what's going on inside of us. As much as we wanna just always feel like we're healthy, you have to be aware. You have to live with the consciousness of what's transpiring inside of you, even though you may want to be somewhere else or think other things. At that moment, that's what's shaykh to your heart at that moment. So that's what Rabbi Nachman says. Tzarich lekasher et atzmo im hanekuda hashayach lelibo ba'et hazot. Comes Reb Nassan and he says, what does that mean? שהסדר של השבוע גם זה בחינת הנקודה השייכת ללב האיש הישראלי לעת הזאת. That one of the ways we understand how do I become aligned with what's going on in myself, a yid is always kashur to what they're reading, what they're learning. Which brings me to the following painful observation. How are we connected to Jews in Galut in these weeks if they're learning a different parsha? It drives me mishuggah. Mazel tov. He's like such a... You understand? The mamash nekuda pnimit, what he's saying over here. He's saying, one of the ways Yehudim were always connected to each other is because everyone was always learning, getting ready for the same Shabbos. Now, it wasn't just a nice thing. They're getting ready for the same parsha. It's the nekuda that's shayach to their heart, the parsha. But what happens when you're learning different parshas?
They're only practicing.
Huh?
They're only practicing.
They're only practicing it. It's a koev, it's a kasher. It's a very sensitive thing. The lo pashut. Now, he continues, and I love when he does this, bringing Lubavitch stories into a Breslover Sefer is one of my favorite things. But this time, I never heard this in the name of the Tzemach Tzedek, I heard it in the name of the Alter Rebbe. מספרים שאחד מהמשכילים אמר פעם לרב הקדוש בעל צמח צדק מלובביץ'. One of the maskilim, you know what a maskil is, right?
The guy who likes a cigar and a Gemara on the Shabbos.
Bediuk, the guy that puffs his cigar, he has the greatest hana to smoke his cigar while learning Gemara. Beautiful. Any problems yet? I mean, for some people maybe, but any problems yet? Jerry, a shmef with the Gemara? Come on, right? Shabbos. On Shabbos. So that's that's a little bit of an issue we have over here, right? So this is what the Inyan was, is that the maskilim, the enlightened ones, who ended up then becoming mityavnim, who ended up becoming, I don't even know how to say that word in English, other than Hellenized, and unfortunately we have plenty of that chevra. שאכן חסידיו הם אנשים טובים. So this enlightened one said, okay, אין בעיה. The Rebbe has good Hasidim, the Hasidim are good people, אבל אינם מתנהגים לפי רוח הזמן הנוכחי. But they haven't adapted to living with current events. Okay? Now what's funny is that out of all the Hasidim, the truth is, Chabadskers are most connected to current events and living in this world, right? They even wear blue shirts. Yeshiva Tzemach Tzedek answers him and he says, איך תאמר דבר כזה שאינם מתנהגים לפי רוח הזמן? How do you say that they're not living adapted to the times, to the spirit of the times? האם יודע אתה איך שוקדים הם על פרשת שבוע של השבוע הנוכחי ממש? Do you know how hard they're mavi sedra? Do you know how hard they're working on the parsha? ואיך שמתענגים וחיים בזה, and how much pleasure and life they receive from being connected to learning the parsha? והסדרה של כל שבוע ושבוע מאירה להם פנים. And the sedra that they learn, the parsha they learn every single week, shines their face, but shines their life, because that's the nekuda of their heart. וכי יש לך רוח הזמן גדול מזה? Do you have a more stronger connection to living with the times than living with the parsha? וכיצד תאמר שאינם חיים עם רוח הזמן? How could you say they're not living with the spirit of the time? Which still brings me back to my last point I made before about different parshas being read, right? But meaning the Alter Rebbe used to say, and they quote this a lot from the Alter Rebbe, that a yid has to live with the times. A yid living with the times means that a yid is living with the parsha of the week, because there's nothing that connects us more to the time that we're in than the parsha of the week. So maybe all this he's saying is that you want to show up to Shabbos really connected with this specific Shabbos that you have in front of you. Rabbi Yaakov Meir Shechter is saying, perhaps, that's how we're darshaning it out. So therefore, I want to show up exactly with this Shabbos, with what this Shabbos is all about. Therefore, how do I connect to what this Shabbos is all about? The light that's coming from this Shabbos is coming from the Sidra that's being read this Shabbos. You got to show up prepared. There are those that say, no, I don't want to be, I don't want to be bored during Torah learning on Shabbos, because if I learned it during the week and I'm going to come again and learn it again on Shabbos, like let's say a parsha that's very juicy, right? Like let's say, give me a juicy parsha. Although obviously all the parshas are juicy. What's that? Korach, right? So I want to like Mavir Sedra. I'd rather just come to shul again and be on the edge to see what happens again, to be excited if the Adama opens its mouth or not, right? Come on, man. Come on. Kita Aleph, not even Kita Aleph, kindergarten, not even. A yid lives with the times by being connected to the nekuda of the parsha. So therefore, the zman to prepare yourself most for the light. See, every Shabbos gives, whether we realize it or not, infuses our lives and our family's light with or. Every Shabbos does this. But to the extent that my heart is a vessel that's open to receive the light that comes from Shabbos. What's one of the ways that I prepare my heart to receive the light of Shabbos? It's this specific Shabbos. How? Through the Sedra of the week. Don't wait. Don't save your ammunition for Shabbos. We have the whole week to prepare for this. And he continues here. Bachurim b'yemei chorpam belomdam b'yeshiva chotrim tamid le'agia le'simcha. Not just Yeshiva Bachris, but this letter was addressed to Yeshiva Bachris, I think. The Bachrim, they always, definitely in B'yemei Chorpam, that could either mean in their winter years of life or the Zman of winter, right? They always want to strive to be b'simcha when they're learning. Ulam be'emet ha'etzah ha'yi'utza pshuta le'archagat ha'da'aga ve'argashat ha'simcha be'odo ba'yeshiva. What's the greatest eitzah? To remove worries and stress and to feel simcha. Hiladat heitev et hashiur shel oto hayom. I'll take the tzaddik's word for this, boys. What did the tzaddik just say? You really want to remove as much worry and stress from you as much as possible? Learn the aliyah of the day. Have it kavua in you. This is what you're taking on. And he says, Eitza Ye'utza, this is known, this be'emet helps a person with his simcha, because you know why? Because you're aligned with the times. And when you feel like you're in your right place, זה מסיר ממך דאגות. וכמו כן לעבור היטב בהבנה על חומש עם פירוש רש"י של אותו היום, together with Rashi of that day. ולעולם לא אשכח את הימים המבורכים, בהם היינו עסוקים בפרשיות מלאכת המשכן, פרשת שרומה, תצווה ודומיהם, קיvam chiyisani. I'll never forget, he says, the days when we were learning the parshias of the dealing of the creation of the Mishkan, Truma and Tetzaveh, how much life it gave me. B'yamim alalu, in those days when we were learning that in yeshiva, hayuli raina machshavas. Does anyone know what raina means? Well, you know it from a sad place. Yidden rein. What's rein? Like clean of, right? Like clean of. Nebuch. Here we're just going to say it beautiful. He says, raina machshavas, clean, pristine thoughts. He's learning the parshas of, he said he realized he had clean and pristine thoughts because he was so immersed in the erection of the Mishkan. So he says over here, מחשבות נקיות וקדושות, היינו מהלכים אחוזים ודבוקים בסדר הקמת המשכן, בצורת המנורה, לחם הפנים, אורך היריות, הריגת האפוד והפרוכת. When you're learning the parshas every week, every day, what happens to some of us when it comes to the parshas of Truma and Tetzaveh? So that's basically when I've given up on Shnai Mikra Echad Targum. I started it strong from Bereshit, comes Truma Tetzaveh, I kind of go shlof, right, for some people. If you're holding strong, what happens to you? If you immerse yourself in the structure of the Mishkan and all the details that the Torah is giving us about the begadim of the Kohen Gadol, that's a big one. This year we really got into it. The begadim of the Kohen Gadol, if that's what your mind is immersed in every single day, he's saying the production of holy thoughts and clean thoughts you have about everything else in life is just a result of living with the times. Living with the times of the parsha. פעם אחת קיבלתי איגרת מבן ישיבה מבקש עצה לשמחה. I once got a letter from a ben yeshiva, Rabbi, I need an עצה, how to be בשמחה. השבתי לו שיבדוק בעצמו אם הוא יודע היטב את השיעור של הגמרא והשיעור של חומרה של רש"י של אותו יום של כתיבת המכתב. So I told him, listen, check the day you sent me the letter and tell me if you were holding of that day's learning. Of that day. ואפשר שיהיה הסיבה לעצבותו. It could be that's the reason of your sadness. לאחר התבוננות, he went back and checked, what day did I write you this letter? And he saw, yeah, you were right. שאכן כן הוא הדבר. I wasn't holding in the learning of that day. Of that day, of that זמן. And he realized, נכון, יש משהו. העניין בזה שעל פי רוב, העצבות נגרמת לאדם כשהוא אינו על מקומו. Where does sadness stem from? Not all the time, but most of the time. Where does sadness stem from? Things aren't where they should be. I feel misaligned. Bichlal in life. If things are where they should be, I feel, what's that?
A loss.
Nachon. If things are where they are, I'm found. Pashut meod. Where I think they should be. Bidyuk. That's the Yeshu. That's the ego. Nachon. Where I think they should be. Legamre. Bidyuk. Bidyuk. And that's what leads to atzvut. He's saying to sadness. So he's saying, now a yid has to realize, I'm a yid that's ma'amin. What's an expectation of where I should be every single day? Not where I think I should be, but where Hashem Yisbarach thinks where I should be. Receiving life force from the parsha of this week. Every day of the week. So if I align myself every day of the week where Hashem thinks I should be, if Yaakov Meir Shechter is putting his money, kiviyachol, on us being in a happier place in life. And you know what? All the skeptics and cynics, not in this room, chas v'chalila, because everyone believes every word of Torah we ever learned, but if there's someone that hears this, they're like, oh my God, the kooks of Shirat David again are up to their wacky, neo mishagas. Just try it for a week. Just try it for a week. Live with the parsha day by day. See where you are. Check and see if you feel more in line with where you're supposed to be. Just try it. ולכן בן ישיבה הנמצא בין כותלי הישיבה ואינו ממלא כראוי וכיאות את ההתחייבות שיש בו בין כותלי הישיבה, נמצא שאינו על מקומו. You ever been in yeshiva and you feel lost and sad and you think you just can't find yourself? But really, sometimes what happens is that you're just not learning what you're supposed to be learning. Sometimes it comes down to this, not always. But sometimes you just got lost in the learning and you feel like you want to be, you don't even realize what you really want to do is just be on track. That's what you want to do. Not always, not always. He says most of the time. We're going to go with sometimes just to not make people feel too pressured about this, but also pressured. ואם אדם משתדל להתנהג כפי הראוי לאותה תקופה בה הוא חי ובה הוא נמצא, if a person lives like he should, Hashem-wise, in the tkufa that he's in and where he's at, הרי הוא על מקומו ממש. On Pesach, when I'm sitting by the Seder table, and I'm just blown away by the Kedusha of the Machloket of Beit Shammai and Beit Hillel regarding Hanukkah candles, you're not where you're supposed to be. We're not just talking about being in a bad place in non-Kedushadik things. We're talking about even being mixed up with holiness. Ezehu chacham hamakir et mekomo. Who's the wise person? That knows where they should be. There's a time for place. And Rabbi Shlomo used to say, you don't go to a funeral and say Mazel Tov, right? And you don't go to a simcha and say Baruch Dan Emes. Even if you remember, these are things you say to people at times. You just got it mixed up. You have to know where you are. והוא הדין לגבי קביעת לימוד חומש רש"י של אותו סדרה בכל יום היא סגולה בדוקה. Okay, סגולה בדוקה means we've checked this out. It works. That's what סגולה בדוקה means, right? You think of a better way of tried and tested. להכניס את האדם למקומו הראוי. This has been tried, tested. It works to insert a person to his proper place. וזה בוודאי יביא לו שמחה ושביעת רצון, and this will definitely bring a person happiness. שביעת רצון means a satiation of will, of desire. And last paragraph. ומעניין חומש רש"י סיפר לי איש אחד, someone once told me, שפעם שאל אותו הגאון הצדיק רבי יוסף צבי דושינסקי. Have you heard of this name before? He was the head of the Eda Haredis. I just saw a picture of him. It's frightening. He's kadosh v'nora. So someone asked him, אם הוא כבר גמר את הפרשה של השבוע, hey, were you מעביר סדרה yet? והשיב לו, אכן כן סיימתי. ושוב שאלו כמה פעמים למד את הפרשה. והשיב לו פעם אחת כרגיל. And then this person, I asked him, how many times did you learn it? He said, I learned it once. ואמר לו הרב דושינסקי על עצמו, שהוא כבר גמר השבוע את כל הסדרה 8 פעמים. He really wanted to live with the times. So what did he do in order to do that? And trust me, he wasn't bored on the 8th time that he heard that the Adama opened up its mouth to swallow Korach. He wasn't bored. It got deeper and deeper into him. Where he needs to be in the world, that's the inyan. Where he, mekomo ba'olam, became clearer and deeper to him every time he was Mavir Sedra. Let's just start with one, boys, okay? One time around. Sorry, 2 times around. We'll get to 8 one day, but, right? כן, סיפר לי האיש הנ"ל שהיה מתלמידי ישיבתו של הרב, ומזה רואים כמה היראים מתדבקים בסטרה של השבוע. So we see from this how much those that really live with yirah, because they know the danger of sadness. And the danger of sadness can bring a person, like Rabbi Nachman says, to this dark place called mara shchora, black bitterness. It's the agon of melancholy. It's the place we want to do everything we can to stay away from. And in this world that we're living in, there are plenty of reasons to be very sad and feel misplaced. But there are things that give us the most healthiest approach to finding our place in life, and they're the most simple ones, yet the deepest. And one of them is to mekabel atzmeinu shnai mikra echad targum. To say, like, we're taking this upon ourselves, we're going to be aligned. We're going to be aligned with who we are, and in that way, when that's the way I live my week, that I know Sunday's Sunday, Monday's Monday, in the right place, in the right time, then you know what happens? Then Shabbos is Shabbos. Then Shabbos is Shabbos. And then there's a hashlama, there's a shleimut. The week is shalem. There's a shleimut, there's shalom. We're living with Shabbat Shalom Mevorach. We should be zocher to take this inyan on and do it besimcha, and to find ourselves really with reina machshavas, clean thoughts more and more every single day as we begin our day immersed with Rashi. It will continue Bezrat Hashem with holy thoughts throughout the day, throughout the week, and bring us to Shabbos Kodesh. Yeshua Koach, everyone.